There we go. Hey everybody, happy week, I guess. I always forget the time of the day here. What day is it actually? Wednesday, okay. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Sorry about that. Today's channel and excuse me. Today we're going to be talking a lot about Ethereum here because since Ethereum is broken out, we're going to try to see if Bitcoin can also break out here. It's just been a very boring, and I mean very, very boring week as far as Bitcoin's been concerned, but at least Ethereum is spicing some stuff up here, where if Ethereum is breaking out and trying to head back up another $100 to around that $2,000 level, perhaps that can get Bitcoin up to at least $30,000, at least $31,000 level, which can at least, in turn, again, boost up the entire altcoin market, which will make everybody a little bit of money there, okay? Excuse me. And sorry, guys, I just got done from being outside. Loki was being a little bit of an aggressive dog out there going after squirrels and whatnot. So, hope you guys are all having a good Wednesday here. Today's stream is sponsored by Chart Prime, so please go check them out. And let's get to it, okay? So, we've talked about this over the past few days now, but if we go over here, take a quick look over at Ethereum, you guys can see that. Let me move this over here a little bit for my benefit. There we go. And Loki's over here just staring me down. You guys can see that Ethereum has managed to break out, and that next level of resistance really does happen to be around that $2,000 level. And there's Loki. There we go. And you can see also on the weekly charts here, we're gearing up for another golden cross. Now, this one is a little bit more interesting because we're looking for a golden cross, just like Bitcoin, between that 20 and that 50, which normally starts this the signal of a larger bull market move. However, which is kind of weird here for Ethereum is actually going to have a death cross as well between the 50-week and the 200-week. Now, me being me, I normally would put more faith in the death crosses associated with Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's the big behemoth as far as market cap is concerned. But, I'm wondering if Ethereum takes a little bit more of a nosedive and just comes back down here to maybe 1600, which isn't that far off. I wonder what this death cross is really going to achieve, because we're going to be having a golden cross between the 20 and the 50, which is good. But at the same time, give it a week or two more, we are going to be looking at that death cross there, between the 50-week moving average and that 200 here. As we go over here to take a look at Bitcoin, remember, Bitcoin's already had that death cross. We're looking for the golden cross now, but the 50-week moving average has already come down a lot more. And I wonder if that's just because Bitcoin had a lot more of a drop, over the past few quarters, I guess. But it's something I'm curious about. Now, I was hoping for Bitcoin that today or yesterday's day candle would be the big day where we had a nice little breakout. We were looking to get above that $29,000 level, and we tried. I mean, we sure did try, but what happened again? We made a move, and we got rejected back down. There. I told you guys we had about 24 to 36 hours to really try to have a big boom. We really are running out of time right now, because if we start flirting with this 20-day moving average, it doesn't mean this particular run that we've been on is over, but it does mean we could have another sudden drop where you guys might have another accumulation. But if you guys are longed with leverage right now, it's going to become very, very pesky to have to deal with it. Again, when we start playing around with this 20-day moving average here, it usually doesn't bode well, and especially since we're getting closer again to that 50. But at least we got some help here from this this banking crisis drop here a few weeks ago. But yeah, so as far as I'm concerned, guys, I was really hoping that, I guess we have 12 more hours left or something like that, but I was really hoping today would be the day. You guys knew we had talked about the Dow, NASDAQ, and SPY. Well, the NASDAQ getting rejected now, coming back down to that previous breakout point of around, 12,871. We're about $100 away from that right now. Dow Jones also getting rejected. I don't think I have that line there anymore. There we go. Getting rejected off from here. I guess you might call this more of a zone, because it actually did manage to break out. And then, of course, we had the SPY over here. SPY not fully getting rejected, but we are in the process of getting rejected right now out of that trend line here. So we need to see both the NASDAQ and the SPY have a stronger move to the upside breakout, and then that's what we're going to really need to have an easy play for Bitcoin going to 31, 32,000. If we're not getting this, Bitcoin can still rally, but there's a good chance it might be something more in terms of a larger wick. And then by Sunday, when the new weekly candle starts up, we're already crashing back down here to 28,000. And that's going to be fun to trade. But for those of us, who want to see Bitcoin continue to grind on despite all the economic stuff going on, we definitely want to see the overall stock market continue to move up too. Excuse me. And hey, Round Earth, boring is good, man. This is the fair weather year of crypto. I just wish the vile California weather would get boring for once. What do you call? Over the last few days, it's been hailing over here in Washington. It's been very, very weird. I am okay. I don't mind boring as far as Bitcoin's concerned, but this is like really boring. Look at this. We are just testing. This is my normal definition of boring. Some stuff going on here, some ups and downs, but nothing too crazy. Maybe a banking crisis in there every now and again. But to me, this is like, look at this. This is what is this? You know, we've been in like a 10% range for the last, oh gosh, I don't even know how many days here. Let's just start off from here. So far, like 19 days. That is absolutely wild. We normally don't sit around like this for a long time. But I know we're at a huge level of resistance. If we manage to break above this, who knows how high we could really go. Bitcoin can be very irrational, just like the overall market. But I think this is a huge level of resistance for Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin can just break through, regardless of what the stock market may do, you may see Bitcoin climb another 10, 15% or something like that. And sorry, guys, I moved my microphone today. So now I'm having to get used to everything and the way the microphone's supposed to move. Let me do this. And you guys, yeah, it's fine right there. But yeah. And then again, we should see some volatility soon, but I thought it would happen yesterday or within the first 12 hours of today. I really don't want to see us continue to break down as far as the NASDAQ SPY and stuff like that, or at least get rejected. That'll bring Bitcoin all the way back down here to like 27,000, 26,600 or so. And then of course, what you're going to see is poor Ethereum that already had the breakout. Ethereum's going to be crashing back down to like 1,700 after it already had that pretty sizable move. As far as altcoins are concerned, I think you guys can see at least a little bit of on the right-hand side. Everything is a little bit negative for the day. Nothing too crazy. A lot of stuff did have some pretty nice moves. And I think people were trying to trade a little bit off of Ethereum because, again, Ethereum managed to break out. Bitcoin is still deciding whether or not it wants to. Let's go over here for a second. See the last 24 hours? You see a lot more green than red, I would say. Not a whole bunch more, but, you know, Bitcoin's going sideways, so does the market. But you're seeing some mostly green here, I would say, right? Mostly green. That's what you're hoping for at this point. You do see some random stuff here the last 24 hours. Clay coin, I don't know what that is, but it's up 26%. Market cap of 863 million. That one's pumping up pretty well. Everything else kind of around, you know, negative 1% to 2%. A few special ones like Trust Token Wallet. I wonder if they had some good news here. Basic Attention Token. You know, so there's some movers, but I would say most things are, you know, going in the right direction for us at this moment in time. As far as news is concerned and, you know, futures right now are all down. You know, we'll see again, we're playing with some technical levels as far as the stock market's concerned, but I still don't see anything that's terrible as far as, you know, news that makes me like, oh my gosh, now this is the time where the whole economy goes kaput. Now we just started quarter two, right? January, February, March, April, May, June. This is the quarter and third quarter where I think we may hit the bottom of the market. So next two quarters is where I'm being the most bearish. But again, the economy hasn't really matched my, what do you want to call it? Pessimism. We'll call it that. But we'll see how it all turns out. Is there any extra news today? I thought I saw something here. No. There you go. This is the only news I really saw today worth talking about. Private payrolls rose by 145,000 in March, well below expectations, ADP says. So, you know, there's people hiring, but again, a lot of the jobs that I think we've been seeing as far as hirings go has been not necessarily new jobs, like somebody got out of the workforce, they waited there for a while, then got back into the workforce. It's usually somebody having to take a second job because they can't pay the bills, or it's somebody that got fed up with their job and they quit and went to find another job because there still is a demand for workers in this country, right? So we haven't really seen more people working overall, maybe a little bit more work being done, which is good. But, you know, not necessarily people getting off their sofas, you know, or, you know what I mean? Not as many people getting back into the labor market overall. So company payrolls rose by just 145,000 for the month, down from the upwardly revised 261,000 in February and below the Dow Jones estimate of 210,000. All right. Now, this estimate's kind of wildly off. You can see that revision is pretty large right there. But, again, the economy is showing signs of weakness, but I don't think we've had that big moment where everybody's going to start to panic again. Just so you guys can see, and I like doing this with you guys, just so you can see where we are at and how the economy kind of feels about everything, or how the hedge funds that kind of control the vast amount of wealth in the country, how they're thinking about this. If I go over here and let's go over just the apples and stuff. Let's get rid of all the technicals here. I can put everything back on for Apple later on. relatively speaking, Apple is very, very close to all-time highs again. We're at 163, all-time highs are at 182. In this economy, does that make sense? No, not at all, but we're there. So, who cares? That's why we did our dollar cost averaging. Amazon, not nearly as tall as 190. This one is more reasonable. You're seeing a death cross happen. Again, this is on the monthly chart. I don't really put much stock into this one. Yeah, I don't think it's really happened before. Last time it happened, we had a big drop, but maybe one over here, that one didn't matter. Yeah, I don't put much stock into monthly moving averages. Maybe monthly EMAs. That's probably a little bit different though. But yeah, so, there's a lot of stuff that still to me feels like we need to have more pain, as Jerome Powell says. Because again, remember, there's going to be a point where, how do I say this? If we really do go into a recession like I think, people aren't going to be buying stuff off of Amazon every single day. All right. I've stopped buying stuff on Amazon, I think a few weeks ago, to see what it was like. I stopped paying for Prime for the first time since like 2016, 2018 or something like that. It's been a long time since I had Prime. And I looked at the prices and everything and how Amazon works. If you guys don't have Prime, I didn't realize this because I've never bought anything without Prime. Amazon is a really shitty website if you don't have Prime. Like everything is like crazy weird looking. And the shipping costs are different. The timing to get your deliveries is different. It is very, very weird. I've been going more shopping. Like after this video, I'm going to Polder World. I'm going to go pick up my sister and we're going to go to a Korean market. Basically stuff with this. AMD, let me get all this stuff. AMD making some big moves, at least testing out the 20 here. Google, still doing very well. Looks like it wants to pop off here. Tesla, not too far off, even though it had that weird capitulation moment that we talked about. Nvidia, almost close to all-time highs as well. Microsoft getting closer and closer to all-time highs. Actually, Meta did feel pain. I don't know if we're going to reach new lows for Meta, but Meta really did feel pain after and that was because of poor executive management of the company from the CEO on downward to the executive levels. But talk about a really ugly chart right here. So I think Meta might have seen this bottom, but I mean, in theory, maybe Meta comes all the way back down to $70, although I don't know if that happens. But my point here is, guys, the market still feels like we're not going to have any more trouble this year and we're going to go back up to new all-time highs for the overall market. Now, the banks, of course, are not feeling that way because of the crisis, but it has been interesting to see how much the hedge funds have been pouring money into tech and stuff like that, saying, oh yeah, tech is fine now. We're not going to go into a recession. Nothing bad's going to happen. And I just don't see that happening. At least my oil stocks kind of bounced back out. My poor PXD is still downward moving here, but at least it's, it's gapped up a little bit this month. But yeah, go back over here to regular Bitcoin. Let's see what we can have happen here. 4-hour chart for now. Because basically this is all we're looking at. We're just still going on this sideways trend. We've had some death crosses, some golden crosses, but not really much here. One of the things you guys may have been using, I don't know if I'll just pull up a regular MACD. I don't need to do the fancy one. There you go. There have been some minor crossovers, but really they haven't amounted to much. You might actually have to change the numbers so they're a little bit less sensitive. But again, it's been a very boring time. If you guys like to do some smaller leverage trades, that's usually what you guys are going to be going for. But besides that, I'm pretty much just kind of sitting on my hands, which is something I don't like to do when it comes to markets like this. And hey, Ivan, hey, Ken, hope you guys are both doing well. A ticker had an FDA approval for a COVID drug on yesterday, and it's been running. Do you think any more room to go? Let me copy this name. I don't know. I don't even know how many people are still interested in COVID, honestly. Like, it's at $1.93. It's already facing some weakness here on the last 4 hours. Let's go to the 1 hour. It's consolidating on $5. What's the market cap for this bad boy? Oh, it's not on here? IFRX, yeah. So it's not on FinViz, which is interesting. I'll just back it up here and go to the daily chart. I guess in theory it could run up all the way to 981. Maybe I would start selling it off at 850 or so if you do manage to hop in here. It does have more room to run. The volume still looks to be doing, the MACD still seems to be doing okay. I don't have volume on here, do I? No. I'd make sure the volume stays strong tomorrow. But I would treat it more as a trade, I would say, instead of, trying to hold on for a long time. I don't know much about COVID, but like I know personally, I'm not taking any more of the vaccines every year like they want. I've had COVID a few times now since COVID started, and it's kind of just like a cold to me personally. Um, and so I don't know. I think maybe it's mostly going to be the elderly that end up getting it. Like, insurance says, hey, we'll pay for your shot, something like that. I think that's probably what you're going to be getting from stocks like this. But long term, probably not. Short term, maybe if it breaks above, let's just call it 675. Is that what that number is? No, 723 it looks like. Because you're already seeing a smaller breakdown of the trend right there. Now it's going to go back to consolidating a little bit more. I would say if you can find a support level down here, maybe somewhere between $4.96 and $4, that'd be an opportunity to buy for a larger move on the upside. But you never know how it's going to open up tomorrow morning. And pre-market, it may even just start above 723 and start ripping. If during pre-market you start to see a little bit of a stronger move, I'd probably just hop on in during pre-market and just ride along with it and have a pretty aggressive stop loss here, right? Maybe around 5% stop loss, 10% stop loss. Well, sorry, not an aggressive stop loss here, but it definitely has enough room to run. Be careful with it though. It's already kind of ran quite a bit. Usually you're just going to be catching the crumbs, and those crumbs is it's going to be more of like, do you want to take on that risk for crumbs at that point? And you can, you just have to be very disciplined about how you approach it. And Magic Man, I'm not a professional trader at all, but I was thinking crypto was going to drop more, but so far it has held up for the most part. Will crypto fall sometime before a decent breakout, or is it about to break out? So my thinking right now for Bitcoin is not so much that it's going to, whether or not it breaks out or something like that. Regardless, if it does break out, I still expect new lows to happen this year with Bitcoin. It doesn't have so much to do with Bitcoin technicals as much as it has to do with the overall global economy, I'd put it. So I like to use a term, street economics. If you guys have ever grown up in the ghetto, the hood, or you guys just, you guys have an understanding of how the economy works from a street level perspective. At this point, I think our economy is still heading for a recession. Everyday people, for most part, are not doing very well, especially those kind of like living the paycheck to paycheck lifestyle. The indicators of which way the economy is going is not in the right direction. And so because Bitcoin's never been through an American or United States major recession type event where, the economy slows down naturally, not the COVID one. That was a weird little freaky thing, wasn't it? But where we go through a natural progression of a recession, staying in a recession for a while, I still think that Bitcoin has a long road ahead of it, probably like a year or so before we start looking at anything too crazy. But I do think we're probably going to bottom out in the next 2 quarters or so. So this is sometime April, May, June, July, August, like sometime before September, I would assume we're going to bottom off here. And I still think Bitcoin's going to come down. Maybe Bitcoin only goes down to 14,000, 12,000. Who knows how far to go? But if we go into a major recession, the entire stock market is going to have to reevaluate what's going on. At this point, the market is kind of pricing in no recession at this point. That's why you see stuff like Apple only a few percent away from all-time highs, despite, I would say, a high inflationary environment and an environment of high interest rates. This really doesn't feel normally like a good time to be trying to buy up everything you can in the stock market. But I'm wondering if this is because during this last bull run, so much money was printed by the Federal Reserve, so much free money was just tossed into the system. I don't think that money truly trickled down to everyday Americans, okay? It trickled down into very wealthy individuals, people that own hedge funds, and a lot of hedge funds have a lot more money now. So they're putting a portion of their money back into the markets right now, and that's a lot of the push that we've been seeing so far. But I think if there is a reckoning, it'll be because all of a sudden they realize a recession might actually happen, and that recession is going to really destroy margins because of the high inflation. and it'll destroy a lot of the profit. And then you're going to see a lot of businesses go under, and that spiral will continue and on and on and on. The whole basis for me believing, though, that the market is going to reach new lows as far as the NASDAQ, like below the October lows, basically, for a lot of stuff, is because I think we're going to be having a pretty tough recession. I shouldn't say like too tough, but like a more moderate recession. I still think we're going to be looking at a recession. That recession is going to have some grave consequences in terms of asset prices. You'll see people lose their jobs. You'll see it. People not be able to afford all these bills. People have been buying up so much shit in terms of how do you say this? Stuff that requires loans. So cars, houses, things of that nature. I think people always forget because we're used to having a good job, especially if you're in corporate America or a union job or something like that. If you're making like 30, 40 bucks an hour, you could afford to have a nice house or a nice apartment. Let me break it down like this so I can kind of rationalize it. Income calculator. Okay. So let's say you guys make $40 an hour, 40 hours weekdays per week, 5, yeah, holidays per year. Sure. Calculate. All right, so monthly, you're pulling in about, a day's adjusted, I don't know. Let's just go with the higher number. You're pulling in around $7,000 a month, okay? Now, I don't think this is I should have done this. Salary per year, pay frequency, okay, that's fine. Calculate here. So what is this? Oh, it's not going to let me do the one I want to. Never mind. But basically, let's just say you walk home with $7,000. Forget about the taxes. Maybe at the end of the day, it's like $6,000. If you're just alone most of the time here, at least in the city, you're paying like $2,000, $3,000 a month for rent. You might have a $500 car payment and then a few $100s of insurance plus all your bills and stuff like that. When you lose your job, a lot of that stuff becomes much harder to pay for, and your savings get drained extremely fast. One of the weird things about all this is I think people are still feeling like if they go on unemployment, that all of those COVID, I think there was, I don't know what they called it, the emergency COVID relief funds that gave you extra money for staying at home. They're not going to be able to get that. So they're not going to be able to afford a nice house. Now, I have a friend that was laid off by a friend of a friend, I should say, that was laid off by Microsoft. He got what you called a buyout, right? So they pay you for a few months of work at like half salary or something like that. Once that half salary runs out, like everything, if he doesn't find another job, maybe he will. If he doesn't find another job, he's gonna have to start putting a lot of stuff on credit cards because he can't keep up. And I'm not talking about with going out and having fun, getting sushi and stuff like that. Like just car payments plus insurance payments plus rent payments, it adds up a lot. And our whole system is built on a very, very expensive cost of living situation right now. This is why every time I complain about inflation and how they in January they switched up the formula to make it appear that inflation was coming down faster than it otherwise would have been. Yeah, they did that, right? Is why I show you guys the rent inflation, right? Rent inflation is like one of those few things. While everything else is going down because, of course, most of the crisis point was all last year. Rent inflation continues to go up and up and up and up, and it's not really being talked about too much in terms of the media, right? CNBC, Fox Business, stuff like that. They normally don't talk about it to such a degree because most of the time they're talking about jobs, the more shinier things. But I like to talk about this because again, this is in a vastly different area, or it's much different than what people are talking about on Wall Street, so to speak, right? Because most people on Wall Street, they don't have to really worry about the cost of their rent. They pay a lot, but they don't worry about it. Most Americans care that their price of their property is going up a lot. Like if I go over here to Maps, Seattle. Sorry, my microphone is blocking my my thing, so I cannot see anything I'm typing. Not MPA Seattle. Ugh, okay, whatever. There you go. Over here. Let's do one better. Did that work out? Oh, it did work out. Sweet. We talk about the rent over here in Seattle every now and again, but basically, price for sale for rent. There you go. All right. So let's say you wanted to rent a house or something like that. Let's not go downtown Seattle. Let's kind of go off the road a little bit here. Let's just go to southern Seattle. So like not even close to downtown Seattle. A simple house over here, 1,000 square feet it looks like. This is going to cost you about $2,500 a month, not including electricity, the bills, everything like that. The bills on top of the house may run you up to, with insurance, maybe up to $3,000 a month. That's not terrible for a house in Seattle, right? But then think about it. If you're just one person that wants to have 1,000 square feet, and remember, there are apartments that have more than 1,000 square feet downtown, you're going to be paying about $3,000 for that right and privilege, which means in most, the way I formulate my budgets, you got to be earning at least 3 to 4 times that just to make ends meet. So that's like what, $3,000. You probably want to be doing $9,000 to $12,000 a month just to be able to afford this house. Because again, as soon as you lose your job, that's about $3,000 coming out of your wallet over and over and over again. And all the money you used to go out and go to all the nice restaurants in Seattle and stuff like that. Buy some nice new furniture, whatever you guys buy, and I buy new computers every now and again, new cameras every now and again, studio lights, whatever. All of that you could no longer afford. When that happens, though, it happens very fast. And the fear is if we have a recession, there's going to be a lot of layoffs like that. And it happens very, very fast, but all of a sudden nobody can buy. And then that panic sweeps in, and then we have a bottoming out, probably hopefully in quarter 2, quarter 3, because everybody sees those earnings reports coming out and it's just like bad, 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 and goes to worse, right? I'm a FedEx driver and it's been slow ever after Christmas. Oh, that's been pretty interesting to hear. I've actually stopped buying a lot of stuff too. The only stuff I've been buying is my mom's birthday is in a few days, Sunday, so I don't have to worry about not streaming with you guys. That's the last time I really bought something big. NKJ, when will the markets recover? Probably over the next year or so. I mean, to me, it's not so much of when they recover, but when they bottom, because then I have a good opportunity of buying a whole bunch, and then I'm just kind of waiting. The issue right now is how bad or how fast inflation will go back down to that 2%. And hopefully we'll leave aside all the geopolitical things going on with like China, Taiwan, Russia, Ukraine. You have to just leave that aside for now. If we do go into recession, basically, the recession should linger on a little bit more than we think, only because this time we have to deal with inflation. If you guys remember the recession that we experienced in 2008, 2008 was a really bad year, the stock market really bad year, but it bottomed out in 2008. But you guys remember we had riots and protests across the country in 2009, 2010. I think in 2010, Republicans had like one of those sweeping red wave things. I think I was in high school at the time or something like that. But, there was mass frustration around the country that the economy was still very bad. Although, again, if we kind of go back over here and we see what was happening, maybe just go to the NASDAQ or something like that, I would say. Well, actually, I can just stay here, can I? NASDAQ, yeah, sure. Okay. Monthly chart. Again, this is a monthly chart. Let's get rid of the MACD. All right, 2008. All right, 2008. December, maybe we can say this was a period of, 6 months of really bad times as far as the market was concerned, right? You could consider this bad times too if you want to extend it out to 8 months. But what happened? Ever since then, the market was going back up. Sure, we had some slow times, but if you can have a good idea of when to buy in these moments, you're going to be just fine. Like relative to where we are now, I bought a lot of stuff up here at these low moments, but personally, I was thinking the NASDAQ might come all the way back down here to like $9,000, $10,000. And I still have a lot of money on the sidelines here because of it. So I'm hoping that we do actually get this, so I can actually, buy a whole bunch. But as far as what was going on in America, during this time, people were pissed off. I think people seem to forget that even when the market was kind of raging like over here and over here, especially in 2016, 2015, Trump got elected because a lot of people still felt the economy was shit, right? I think what was the dynamic there? I think it was like manufacturing had left the country. He wanted to bring them back, and he did bring a lot of the jobs back. But again, you know, when we get into a cycle where companies are losing a lot of money, in order to justify to their shareholders that, hey, we're going to be working for you, they have to cut costs at any expense. And if we go into the recession, you're going to see a lot of those jobs migrate out of America and go back to China, or in this circumstance, I would say more of India. But India is going more in the BRICS country direction. And I think India likes China way more than they like us, because America does not have a good reputation just around the world right now, due to all of our geopolitical nonsense. So, you know, we're going to have multiple years of some crises ahead, but the assets that you hold are still going to be doing just fine, right? So that's the good thing here. But yeah, we're in one of those weird, ugly spots in history right now. Hopefully this BRICS country stuff doesn't happen anytime soon. I still think we have 5-6 years before that starts to really deal some pain to the United States. There you go. Any thoughts on Dogecoin? Right now, Dogecoin's the same as everything else, in my opinion. It did have that nice pop due to Elon Musk, but I don't expect the pop to continue moving on unless we have continuous news. Dogecoin is something that when it pops, it loves to drop. Pop, then drop, pop, then drop. It's usually something that people would want to short back down. In this example, I would still rather be shorting Dogecoin than going long on it personally. And then if you did want to go long on it, you would want to see Bitcoin try to break out above $29,000. And you would also want to see the NASDAQ and the SPY break out above their current levels of resistance, which are being very, I would just call it annoying because nothing's breaking out. You'd want to see those breakouts if you wanted to expect Dogecoin to go even higher. As far as I'm concerned with Dogecoin right now, Dogecoin is something that Elon Musk keeps on doing stuff that makes me happy to hold it for the long term. Elon Musk really doesn't do much to make me want to trade it necessarily. And that's because I'm usually away from my computer when he pulls these crazy moves, like, you know, putting the Dogecoin dog on Twitter. That type of stuff, I'm never at my computer when he does that. So I'm not going to go chasing after FOMO stuff like that, because I normally don't trade Dogecoin. To me, it makes it really, I'm really adamant about just buying and holding it, or dollar cost averaging. I think something really cool is going to happen with Dogecoin. I don't know what it is, but the fact that Elon is working with them and you keep on seeing these little signals, you know, right? That makes me very, very happy about the future of Dogecoin. But for now, probably going to drop like it always does after one of these big pops. I'm just hoping that Dogecoin manages to stay strong, especially while everything else is testing the resistance. The only thing that's really had a solid breakout so far as the larger market caps has been Dogecoin because of the news, but Ethereum more of a natural breakout just because of they're having another upgrade here soon. Let's see. Anyway, Walter, anyway, we can go over some Faraday stuff. I'm still a little confused about the follow mode, fixed amount. What about it? Fixed amount, you're just going to choose how much money you want to follow them with. Usually it's a lot less than you would think. Hey, Mike, would you say buy Ethereum now or catch the ride up? Depends on what you're trying to do as far as strategy. Ethereum did just break out. So if you wanted to play that breakup up to $2,000, you can. But now you're kind of in that middle zone now of where the next breakout's going to happen. You would have probably wanted to buy yesterday when the 2 daily candles ago, when the breakout was confirmed, and then done a small day trade for maybe 24 to 30 hours, I guess. I'm riding it up, right? That one up. As far as Ethereum right now, though, I mean, are we still in the middle zone here? Yeah, right now we're still in that middle zone here. Maybe if it decides to come back down here towards 850 or so, and we have a little bit of a dip, that might be an opportunity for you to rally back up. You might actually even see a small breakdown just from here. And during that breakdown, it may be an opportunity for you to buy if you want to see it rip back up here. But it would have been nicer to try to buy this breakout right there. Solid move, ride it up. And this is probably the trade I would have been looking for, something around there. At this point, you're going to want to wait for it to probably have another setup here. Perhaps just, you know, who knows exactly what it's going to look like when it happens, but I'd be waiting for some type of accumulation, right? Maybe like this, what, you know, actually causes the line. Then we have a breakout. That might be your next opportunity to go high. Other than that, you might just be looking to see, hey, Ethereum is breaking out. It has some room ahead of itself. Maybe I'll just wait for the SPY to also have a breakout here, right? and then a SPY tries to go from 412 to 420, you could also be trading Ethereum at that same time. And same concept when it comes to the NASDAQ. NASDAQ got rejected up here, coming back down to test support levels. But if we do manage to break out here, then you might have an opportunity to follow then Ethereum as well. To me, I'm really more worried about the NASDAQ and the SPY. So that's why I'm hoping that if they can have a stronger move up, Ethereum will do just fine. Bitcoin will do just fine. But while this is being tested out, I think it's fair to say Bitcoin and Ethereum can still go a little bit more sideways here, maybe with a small dip or so, that'll give you an opportunity to buy back in. But this week is going to be big as far as are we breaking out? Are we breaking down? We had some less than optimistic economic data coming out today with the private payrolls that we talked about. So this might be one of those times where people start to freak out again, but we'll have to see. And then again, next Wednesday, we have CPI data coming out, I believe. So keep your eyes on that one. Did I hear that McDonald's is doing mass layoffs and even Walmart doing layoffs too this week? I didn't hear about Walmart, but I did hear about McDonald's. I mean, guys, the economy is not good. I've been saying this for like, I don't know how many months now. This is why I keep on calling the overall market irrational, right? Low roller scratcher. Irrational. But again, the market's the market. Even if I think the market is irrational, it doesn't mean that I'm right? Or doesn't mean the market is always right, is what I'm trying to say, right? So I may not understand it. I may try to trade it every now and again, but this is a whole different thing that I've never seen before. To me, the market should be back around the lows of October. Maybe if I put it into scale of things here, just in my personal opinion, like let's look at the SPY. Let's go to the weekly chart. I would say we should be back around here, like around 380 or so, maybe 390, not up here on 400 or so, above 400. I think this range down here would be perfect for us right now. Where I think the market should be valued is somewhere over here, not all this crazy shit that we've seen. No, I don't think we should be anywhere close to where we are right now. I think we should be more over here. But again, there's so much money in the system now because we flooded it with money that we're just kind of having some fun as far as I'm concerned. You know, hedge funds are just going all in. You know, we've had a breakout there. We had a little knockback down, but now we're just saying, hey, can we have another breakout? Let's see what happens. We've just been consolidating. This is a weekly chart, so you can see like a few days of breaking down here. But definitely been again a time where I just don't think the economy is that good. But again, even if I say the economy is not good, even if the data says the economy is not good, if people are putting money into the market, the market's going to go up. That's just a simple way it is. And as well, everybody's thinking about inflation, which adds that other type of dynamic to this. And again, everybody is thinking about the dollar here, and the dollar is continuing to go down and down and down. Unless we see some really strength from the dollar around this $100 level when we have a reversal, you know, things could get very, very interesting again. Because of the banking crisis, though, who's going to bank on Jerome Powell doing more and more interest rate hikes? He probably has 1, 2 more left in him, and then he's going to give up on it. And then we'll have to see if inflation just comes back down because of a recession, or if inflation is just sticky for a while, or we go into some doomsday scenario of hyperinflation, which I don't think is likely. But I think the rumbles are coming more and more for hyperinflation. And that's only because of all the stuff we've been seeing in the news as far as China, Russia, Brazil, the BRIC countries, right? And them making a whole bunch of moves geopolitically, while the United States is really on the back foot as far as geopolitical politics right now. I think all of our time and energy is being spent watching Europe and Ukraine. And we're not really doing all the side work or the the day-to-day work to keep Africa really happy with this, keep Latin America happy with this, Southeastern Asia happy with this. So they tolerate us, but I don't think they're necessarily really happy with this right now from a geopolitical standpoint. When they see the winds kind of changing, when you see an empire in decline, so to speak, what does a country do? They may not just say, hey, we're giving up on America, but they're going to start to hedge their bets. And even the prospect of hedging the bets means that weakens the dollar even more. That causes a little bit more concern overall. And, again, that's the cycle starts to spiral. The way I described it the other day is we're in a toilet, we're being flushed, and the flushing has just started, and we're just going sideways right now. We don't know how bad this shitstorm gets, right? But it's probably not going to be good. We're just hoping, again, that somehow we can mitigate this. this may take place, I would assume, the bad stuff overall over the next 10 years. But maybe the timeline can be slowed down if there's a big external event, right? What if Russia really does launch a nuke into Ukraine? What if China really does invade Taiwan? There's a whole bunch of things that could I can go down, but they realistically can go down. I think the interesting thing so far from a geopolitical standpoint is, I watch a lot of, I guess I don't really watch the news too much, but I like to watch news on YouTube. I try to watch Fox, CNBC, MSNBC, just get an idea of what's going on politically in America. But then you could go over to France 24, some of the German channels, some of the Saudi Arabian channels, African channels, just everywhere else besides America, basically, even Latin American channels. And, as long as they have subtitles, I can read it. You kind of see what they're thinking about in terms of their priorities and stuff like that. There are a lot of countries that if China were to invade Taiwan, they would keep on trading with China like nothing happened, because they don't care about America trying to build a coalition to stop China economically, even though we do have a lot of economic power to do so. A lot of countries are just going to say, we don't care. Well, America, you invaded the Middle East and Iraq for weapons of mass destruction. Why should we care if they go back and take over the Taiwanese land, which has been theirs for, I don't know, centuries? I don't know how long. I'm not a Chinese historian, even though I did get an A in ancient Chinese history. But what do you call that type of stuff? Okay, so as America loses economic power, I do have some concerns that over the next 10 years, it's really going to affect the American financial system. Especially, as Africa starts to fight back against Europe from an economic standpoint, we're just kind of in this weird pickle zone. It's definitely an interesting time to be alive, that's for sure. Definitely an interesting time to be alive. Gala is overbought, you think? I do think Gala is overbought, yes. Will Doge be the currency for space? I doubt it. I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, I think Dogecoin is going to be some type of currency between a certain app and a certain ecosystem, right? It'll be a well-respected currency. They'll have to figure out a way to stabilize the price a little bit more. But I think America and Europe are going to team up and make our own currency down the road, I think. And then I think the BRIC countries are going to have their own currency. I imagine a world where I can own both currencies without getting targeted by my government, right? Like all I want is a single currency that I could use wherever I am in the world. I know that's not going to happen, but I would like to see the ability for me to have like a euro coin and a USD coin and a rupee coin and a ruble coin and a yuan coin, and I can pretty much just I can exchange them on my phone or through some exchange online, just not paying some crazy ludicrous fees. And then I take it on a card, whatever, then I just go out and pay for stuff with it. That's all I really want from currencies out there. I think what Elon's going to do is just put it into his own ecosystem. So, in the future, maybe it's a currency in Mars or something like that, but I don't know if I'm going to be alive doing that. But I can see it being a currency that's used on Twitter, something that can be used on the Vine, which he's going to be implementing into Twitter here, I think in the future. It could be a currency when it comes to Teslas. It's going to be part of an ecosystem in itself, but I don't think it's going to be like the dominant currency out there. I don't know how it's going to work though, because Elon Musk has his fingers in so much stuff that it's not going to be hard for him to make it into like a beautiful ecosystem. But like, how do I say this? So he has Tesla, he has Twitter, and then people talk about it, but they don't talk about it from a monetary standpoint, too much more the coolness and the tech side of it. He also has Starlink, and all of those satellites up in the air. He could do some really interesting stuff with currencies in that part, where he could provide internet to a couple of cities in Latin America that are kind of more in the mountains. I don't know if you guys have been to Latin America, but there are some towns and areas up there where there's just like, it's so hard to get to them. You got to take those really windy roads, which are kind of sketchy. And then they could have an entire, if Dogecoin was more stable, they could have an entire trading system built up with Dogecoin, working with the governments of the countries down there, and everything could be really nice and doozy if they can figure out how to do it. I don't know how to do it yet, right? Maybe they're thinking about it, but there's a whole ecosystem that Dogecoin can do. And I think as a person that holds Dogecoin, the like 90% of the reason I'm holding Dogecoin at this point is because of Elon Musk. The other 10% is really because they have an interesting theory about how to, how to work with their currency. And I just taken that little bit of a gamble on that 10% to see how it's going to work out. But Elon Musk has a lot of opportunities that he could take if he wants to make Dogecoin more mainstream. I just don't know which route he's going to take, but I'm hoping that whatever route he chooses, it's still going to be a good one overall for everybody. See, difference between fixed amount and total margin. Let me go over here. I have to log on to my secondary account that's not an actual copy trader. Let me see if I can help you here. So this is the account I set up for that video because I can't do this type of stuff with my main account. So you're not talking about customized, you're talking about margin versus fixed amount. All right. So here, which one was I going to be looking for though? Let me see if I can find you the actual definition of it. No, that's the support. Do they have a definition part of it? No, they're probably not going to be. Okay. Okay, so for the margin part, this one's normally just what percent of the margin are you going to be looking for. I normally don't do this one. You can do between 0 and 100% here. I don't have a balance though because this isn't my normal account. Normally, I'd say you'd probably just want to do a fixed amount, right? Fixed value investment, USD margin. How much are you looking to spend with margin? So if you have $100, you can go $130, $150 with margin, right? How much do you want to be eligible for when it comes down to the how much you can be liquidated out of, I would say, right? I would say for this one, most of the time, you're just going to be looking at anywhere from 100 to $200. There's no reason to put thousands of bucks into this until you start getting a hang of it, because you never know if this person is going to be continue being good and as far as trading is concerned, right? And I don't know what multiplier is. I've never really done the multiplier all too much. Your order will be times of an order placed by the trader. I've never done it like this before at all. Maybe 0.5 or 1 is going to be exactly what you'll be looking for. But like if your trader does a $100 long at 5x, if you have 2, it's going to be a $200 long at 5x, right? Or if they're $200 long, right, and you do 0.5, it's $100 long on your behalf. But as far as fixed amount here, that's just the amount you want to be trading with. It's the amount of money that you want to have eligible for the trade. So if you only have $100 in your account, and you might only be able to do $100. If you have the margin in here, available margin balance, order is placed by percentage of total margin balance. How do I want to say this to you? Make it more detailed. Okay, so you know how you have different wallets here. I don't know if it's going to show up since I just made this account. Oh, this looks totally different because I don't have money in this account. Well, there's a margin account right here and then the USDT one. This margin one right there. Go back over here very fast. Okay, available margin balance 0. Order is placed by percentage of total margin balance. So if you have $100 in here and you only want to have $20 in margin, you're going to do 20%. Hopefully that helps out. Let me see if I can find. I remember being shown a tutorial on this, and I just don't know where it's at on this actual page. Earn. Copy trading. No. I'll try to find it and I'll post it in the members section for you. I'll just post it somewhere on like the page for you. Earn. Because they have, yeah, this is so different than mine because mine's total account wallet. Yeah, because I made this just for the tutorial. There's not as much stuff on here for me. Most, I would say like 99% of you guys just want to do the fixed amount and just have it be a small portion of whatever the amount of money in there. I would say the majority of you guys are going to be using this exchange to trade, right? So like day trade, swing trade, and not be showing reliance on the copy trading. Copy trading is just a side way for you guys to make some money, extra money on there. But I would say, yeah, fixed amount, whatever you're willing to lose, that's the stuff you'd be putting there. But again, if you have like 10,000 bucks in there, I would still only put a couple $100 in there just to test it out and see if you like it first. When are we shorting Amazon? Oh my gosh, what do you call it? Amazon has been I mean, I want to short it now. I just kind of want to buy some long-term puts on it with a 25% less value than it is now and have them expire sometime in October. But I don't know if that sounds crazy or not. Magic Man, what happened with the infrastructure bill was all about? The infrastructure bill was it was a lot of stuff in the infrastructure bill. The infrastructure bill is going to cause a little bit of inflation in and of itself. But basically, America just printed money to pay for this sucker, and it's a really bad bill, in my opinion. It did a whole bunch of social programs on top of the actual hard infrastructure. That's the reason I don't like it. We can't really keep affording to do all this stuff, but we keep on saying we can. We'll figure it out down the road. And eventually down the road comes and we're just like, right? Remember, guys, I think it's like, what, it's April now? Isn't it like in 2 months, 3 months time, aren't we supposed to default on our debt? Have we even heard any talk about that? No, we've been talking about Trump trial stuff. Right? We're kind of just like blindsiding ourselves, all this shit coming down the road here. But as far as the infrastructure bill, it did get passed. It is going to be used to update a whole bunch of port security, port logistics, railroad tracks, roads, stuff like that. Then there's also going to be a social aspect of it that helps with, like, putting money towards kindergarten, daycare, I guess, stuff like that. I don't know. Again, I'm pretty salty because I'm a single male. Single males don't get shit when it comes to these big old packages. They want you to make a family unit, then you get to have some good money there. Another reason to move to Nicaragua, right? I saw that Big Mac combo costs $8.50. You are better off eating Golden Corral buffet, cheaper. I mean, $8.50 for a Big Mac combo. I think it's more expensive than that. I don't know. Like, I got a combo, I think it was like 2 months ago at Jack in the Box, and I think it was like $18. Like, it's pretty darn stupid these days. It's inflation, but we get used to it. Remember, guys, all of our minds are kind of wired to go very fast and forget a lot of the stuff we knew in the past. Like, fast. When you think about it, a lot of that goes on to cost. So, like, if I went over here to McDonald's, or DoorDash, maybe? DoorDash? Hold on a second. Let me find an address around here that's not my address so I can show you guys something. Copy. Okay, this is some random address I found online, so there you go. Yeah, I clicked on it. Is it loading or something? Oh, there it goes. Okay. There's a McDonald's. Look at that. Big Mac. Just the hamburger itself is $6.89. So if I go over here to combo meals, what's the Big Mac at? I don't know. I don't go to McDonald's. Bacon quarter pounder. Oh yeah, bacon ranch crispy meal is $12.29. Deluxe crispy meal is $12.39. Double quarter pounder with cheese is $14. Filet of fish is $10. Double bacon quarter pounder burger is $14.39. A Big Mac meal right here, $11.69. It's not even close to the $8, whatever. Oh, at least large isn't too much more expensive here. If I get a large, fries, get a Coca-Cola, I guess that's it. Yeah, it's gonna cost me like $12.29. Things are kind of expensive, dude. I think we all know that by now, but yeah, prices are definitely getting kind of wild out there. Congrats on the A in Chinese history. What do you call it? It's I'm proud of it. Ancient Chinese history is one of those advanced classes that I took just because I wanted to learn. That's where I think college is good for. College didn't teach me anything about the economics that I was studying or too much about math and stuff like that. I just read a whole bunch of books in the library. But if I wanted to learn about something when it came to history, history professors know what they're trying to teach because you can't change history all too much. I mean, they can try, but you know, there's a textbook on it, especially other countries, other cultures, history. It's much easier to kind of get an understanding of what's going on. You should create a Chinese Spanish channel and a YouTube channel. I thought about it, but I'm not going to do it just because YouTube's in the works. They have it in the works where they're trying to do it for me. So I make a channel and then there's a way for it to scan my voice and take everything and turn it into Spanish. At least that's the way it's sounding right now. Or I can record it in Spanish and I'll have it be on the same channel. I think that's why Mr. Beast stopped posting on his Spanish channel or his Japanese channel and his Chinese channel, because everybody's getting ready for that big move to happen. But once I move down to Nicaragua, I am going to be hiring a staff down there because it won't be so expensive. And I'll have some guy dub over everything I say, somebody that understands Spanish and English, probably some college kid or something. And I'll be like, hey man, can you go over each of these videos and just record them and I'll re-release them or something like that. And it should be very, very easy. I'm hoping that's the way it works. I have no idea how it would work from YouTube's perspective though, because I think it would be on both. Everything would be on the same video, but you know how you activate subtitles? Instead of activating subtitles, you would activate the audio. I don't know if you guys ever watch anime, but a lot of times if you guys watch anime, it'll give you the option to say which language you want to hear it in, whether it's the dub or the American dub or the Japanese dub, right? I think that's what YouTube is going for. No fast food burger is worth 18 bucks. DoorDash is expensive. What do you call it? Check your Golden Corral. I've never been to a Golden Corral. I haven't heard good things about them, so I probably won't go, but what do you call? I don't know much about Golden Corral. I don't really go to many buffets. Heck, I didn't even go to a buffet when I was in Las Vegas and I really wanted to. I think I'm going to a buffet for my mom's birthday. We're going to some I don't know. Is this it? This might be it. I think I'm going here with my mom's. I can't tell. Yeah, all you can eat grilled meat table. So I don't know. This is what I'm going to as far as buffets, but I don't know. That's pretty good. Damn. Oh yeah, Texas Day Brazil. I mean, yeah, it looks like a buffet, but it looks like it has some good meat, right? But yeah. Oh yeah, this looks like a nice little buffet place. The buffets out here are really they go over the top for it, but damn. Yeah. I'm gonna be happy to eat that buffet. Now I'm wondering, I bet that's gonna be kind of expensive though here. I don't know how much that's gonna cost. I don't even know if this is the right buffet though. Honestly, I have no idea. I'm not in charge of this type of stuff. Menu. Yeah, the churrasco dinner is 50 bucks or 49 bucks a person plus the 10% tax. That makes sense. About 50, so about 50, $52, $53 a person. Yeah, that sounds more like the buffet prices I'm accustomed to. Now it's very good food, but you kind of have to not eat the entire morning so you can get, you can be very hungry for the buffet and get your money's worth. Although I think when it comes to the steak and stuff like that, you're usually getting your money's back worth. Just don't eat a whole bunch of bread rolls. And I think the rule is no bread rolls and a small salad if you're going to get a salad at all. Normally, I like to just get some warm vegetables if I'm going to get any vegetables at all. Got to get that fiber in there, guys. There we go. See. But yeah, I don't think I've ever been to a Golden Corral. When I was younger, we used to have these things called old country buffets. But I think all the old country buffets where I live, they all went out of business, I believe. Pretty sure they went all out of business, but yeah, who knows. But okay, buddy, I have to run. I have to go do some errands and go grocery shopping with my sister. I need to go pick her up, and I need to make sure I pick her up so she still has time to do her homework for tonight. But again, this is the goal for today. I thought we might break out yesterday and have a solid move because we saw that Ethereum was also having that breakout there. Let me add that line for us right here. There we go. And Ethereum broke out. It still looks fine. Bitcoin is still having issues. Now, if we continue to flirt around with this 20-day moving average, guys, we're going to be coming back down to around 26,700 or so, back down to the bottom of the zone. That's not going to be good. Would I buy around that zone? Maybe a little bit. I might dip my toe in here. But guys, be very, very careful because again, we're waiting for the SPY to break out, and we're waiting for the Dow Jones to break out, and we're also waiting for, ow, hey, and we're also waiting for the Nasdaq to break out. Oh, you guys can't see Loki. He's over here clawing at my arms. We're still waiting for everything to break out. And until we start to see the stock market break out, you may see Bitcoin do this really weird move of just going sideways. But in this circumstance, because we still don't know whether the Nasdaq and the SPY are going to break out, I'd be very, very cautious about going heavy in here. I'd be doing more day trading and doing some trades at the lower end of the range that could help get us to the point where you can hold on for a little bit and be more confident about an upward move, right? That way your stop loss isn't going to be more than like a couple percent. Why go on that risk if you guys don't have to? But again, Ethereum is the only reason right now that I'm bullish. So take care, guys. Hope you guys have a good rest of your Wednesday. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And again, this stream today is sponsored by Chart Prime. I have the link down below. Go check them out. They have some really good overlays, and I'll be doing some more videos on them, I think, later on this week, okay? Thanks, everybody. And Wilder, I will try to go find more information about the fixed way so I can explain it better and not be like jargling up on my words as I try to explain it to you, okay? Maybe I'll pin you on